It seems today that all you see is clickbait on YouTube and speedruns on Twitch.
But where are those good old-fashioned tech girls on which we used to rely?
Lucky there's a sunny crap guy. Lucky there's a world to positively can do all the things that make us
Laugh and cry.
He's
our Psycraft guy.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 11 of the 4x4 Chunk Challenge. I just realized something while recording, not sure if you can see it as well. Very tiny in the background, there's a chicken. Like 2 episodes ago, we've been desperately looking for those chickens we renamed in the nether, which got lost during our complete excavation. And yeah, it turns out they somehow got over here on the world border wall. They won't even just lay an egg. So that's the mystery where the chickens went. Okay, too bad. Now we already have the chicken farm and everything. Don't think we need those 2 guys anymore. Okay, so the plans for today are, making a better XP farm. So far, of course, we've been using our spawner farms, like this blaze spawner or the piglin brood spawner, which is okay. So we got good tools and armor out of this. But in case you ever die, lose your armor for some reason, so there have been some incidents where people enderpearled out of the world border and couldn't get the stuff back because they were 100 blocks out. So stuff sometimes goes wrong, and then it's a bit annoying if you have to wait 10 minutes to get all your XP, so you want to upgrade to a better farm. The obvious choice, the normal world, of course, would be to go to the end, make a quick enderman farm. But we're not quite there yet, so I want to make an overworld mob XP farm, which is quite unique. I don't think I've ever done that to the scale I plan to do today. So I want to get roughly as much XP as an enderman XP farm, so about 60,000 XP per hour. So let's quickly head over to creative mode to design this farm. Don't have a lot of time, so my first idea was we could maybe redesign the existing mob farm. But turns out it's a bit of an issue. So I kinda don't want to deal with any spiders in the overworld XP farm. So I want to limit it to creeper, skeleton, zombie, and witch spawning. Because dealing with the spider is a bit of a problem. So an idea would be to adjust this farm here. So we had water stream at the top that flushes all the mobs off. And then they would drop down here and get killed by fall damage. What you could do instead is flush all the mobs towards the middle, where we have the players sitting, killing the mobs and getting the XP. But there's a problem usually with the spiders that I'm not even sure how much of a problem it is. But when I designed a similar farm before, I tried to always had issues with spiders climbing up walls, which got pretty annoying. So I kind of want the XP farm without any spider spawning. A way to do this would be to put walls in there, which would intersect with the spider's collision box, preventing them from spawning basically. So if a spider would select to spawn on this block, obviously there's this half block high wall on the side, which would intersect and therefore stops the spawning attempt. So if you make sure on every potential spawning spot there would be a wall blocking the spider spawn attempts, you can get a farm without any spider spawning. But I'm quite sure if this concept here, maybe some mobs would get stuck on the walls, etc. So I was thinking, instead of doing this diamond-shaped farm, it would maybe be easier just design a completely new one, get rid of the old one, where we have like 2 wide lanes, something like this. And just have blocks here on the side. That would be the idea. Mobs could spawn in those lanes. And we just have water here in the back flushing them off. Okay, and then 2 blocks over, get the next spawning layer. In between, we could just put full blocks. So nothing can like walk over. It's really not much of an idea, but this should definitely work. Kinda short on time to come up with something better, so I think I'm just gonna run with this. So then we're just gonna use like trapdoors here in the back. And just run a simple redstone line over this. We can turn this on and off. And flush the mobs off. Yeah, that would be the idea. Then we just need enough of those. They would all drop down. Probably gonna stack this up multiple layers high. And then flush them towards the middle. So this way we also don't have any spider spawning if you just keep this up. So I'm using leaves here, by the way, because just to optimize the spawn algorithm a little bit. If you have like a full solid block, like a cobblestone block, then any spawn attempt that selects this cobblestone block is aborted. But if there's a leaf block, there's a mechanic that could after that jump to a normal block instead and still spawn up. So it's more efficient at foot height to always have those non-solid block slabs, so stairs are also an option. That's why I'm using leaves here. I guess I'm just gonna run with it. So one problem, of course, with our Overworld is that we have the platform at the top, which is bad for the mob spawning algorithm. So you want usually build your farm as low as possible and have no blocks above to optimize the chance that your mob spawn in a mob farm. So we're gonna need a ton of spawning spaces for the farm. It's also gonna be quite large. Alright, so yeah, it's just a matter of figuring out how large to make it. Let's do it real quick. Okay, so here we are 1 hour later and we got a finished mob farm that is working. So it took me a couple of iterations to come to this size of the farm. I actually didn't expect to need that many spawning spaces to make an efficient XP farm, but yeah, here we are. So it's over 30,000 blocks to place. Just the initial idea scaled over and over again. It's definitely better if we stack a lot of layers on top of each other to keep the travel distance short. So the mobs would fall down here, and then the bottom get flushed over towards the middle. Drop down a couple blocks on top of the soul sand here. Okay, so let's actually try it out. Whoops, here we are. You can turn it on the farm here, which then just flushes left and right side in an alternating way. So the duration is relatively short. To try around a little bit. It turned out it's better with a fast cycle time. Okay, I think game rule mob spawning is turned off. Do mob spawning. All set it to true, and we should get mob spawning very soon. Okay, let's have another look. And we are peaceful. Okay. Ah, there we go. First mobs. So we're actually getting 60,000 XP per hour as planned. So the farm is just as fast as an enderman farm. A little bit more effort. But since we're playing on a multiplayer server, there's gonna be a couple people working together. Shouldn't take too long to build this up. Okay, yeah. So mobs get flushed down to the middle. And we're really getting some decent XP. You can also go in survival mode real quick. Standing here for a while. It's definitely a lot better than the spawner farm, as you can imagine. Okay, definitely works great. So I haven't even really bothered collecting all the items we're getting, because compared to our starter mob farm, this farm is like roughly 20 times faster. So getting, compared to the starter farm, ridiculous amount of bones, gunpowder, rotten flesh and all of that. I haven't even really bothered. They're making a storage system for that. But we get some special items from this. I have carpet here right now. So we're getting some special items of this. We're getting a redstone dust from the witches, glowstone, but also, that's interesting, carrots and potatoes. And iron ingots from the zombies. So far, I just want to collect those type of items. So we got a filter for all of that. Okay. Maybe we can also store the other items if we're running low. And of course, we're not getting string from this farm. So I really only made this farm just for the XP. In case we need more string, then we have to make a separate spider farm. But I think, just as a general overworld mob farm, in case we need to drop, this is also pretty good. Produce about 35,000 items per hour. Okay, so let's head back to survival and build this. before we can actually build the mob farm, we need to get some stone for the stone bricks first. So I chose the stone bricks because they're better looking block than cobblestone, and they're also insta-mineable. So in case at some point we don't like the mob farm anymore, we want to make a better one, should be easy to remove. So back to the creative world it was. Took me about 5 minutes during the recording session to quickly come up with something. I'm well aware this is definitely not the best stone generator, but it does its job. So it's like 24,000 stone per hour. Relatively simple, but yeah. I'm quite sure I can make a better one later. Alright, so we can easily craft the stone into stone bricks and then start building the mob farm. Alright, now it's time to test out the mob farm. I have very little levels, because I died for science, so we can check out how fast roughly it takes to get to level 30. But I would estimate it should be around a minute to get there. Let's see. So, yeah, it takes a couple seconds until the first mobs arrive. We also put down an armor stand, which has the benefit of using the sweeping attack regardless if there's a mob in the middle or not. Alright, so level 12 already. I'm pretty good. 15. So this is definitely a lot better than any spawner farm we had. I have to step back to get the one in the corner. Get a bit closer. Okay. Let's see. Definitely want to see how long it takes to get to level 30. So I don't think it should matter too much if there's one sometimes left behind in the corner. So I went for 3 wide here. Could have also compacted the mobs further down in a 1x1 hole, but then we have anti-cramming issues. That's kind of good. So if there's 3 wide space here, you can take a step back, do some enchanting. So we got anvils up here. You just have to basically bring your books and tools or armor we want to enchant and do that real quick. 25. Takes a bit. 26. Oh, there was a witch even. Because they're faster mob farms, especially once we get into gold farming, zombified piglins should be an even better option. So that was always the basically long-term plan for XP, to build some kind of gold farm for XP. Of course, if we had more sand and we are at level 30, we could also do a cactus or furnace to get XP. But unfortunately, the amount of sand we have is very limited. So we already need some sand for like turtle breeding. We have roughly, I think, about 1000 sand blocks. You can't make a very large cactus farm with that. So per cactus you can place down on a sand block, I think you get roughly 2.5 cactus per hour. That means if you would use all of our sand, you can get 2.5 cactus per hour, which is 1 XP per cactus, so 2,500 XP per hour, which is actually decent. Maybe we should actually do it. What else we're gonna do with the sand besides the turtle farm? Also, we can get a little bit more sand from the wandering trader, but for now this is more than enough. This should actually be enough for any server, really. I mean, of course, can always go faster, but yeah, it's pretty good. We also ran them up from overnight once. Somebody got to 450 levels, I believe. So let's check out some of the resources we got. It's always nice to get a bit of more redstone dust. Although trading at this point is the better alternative until we get the raid farm. Then we got some glowstone dust. You can also trade for that, to be honest. Iron is pretty good right now for us because we actually got rid of our starter iron farm. Don't have a replacement yet. So the mob was actually our only source of iron at this point. Then also we collected the glass bottles, so we don't need to use the glass we traded for to get honey bottles for the expansion of a honey farm at some point. I think Cow was also collecting some of the rotten flesh to trade with the villagers. Rest of the drops we didn't really bother with. Okay, so for now we have a really good mob farm. That's all we need at this point. Then let's check out some of the other stuff I was working on during the playing sessions. So I put in some floors out of the simple stone blocks, smooth stone blocks. I think we also have one here and then one couple blocks lower. I just wanted more space. So the starter area on top of the terracotta hill got really cramped, and we need to expand a little bit. So people already used the space here, placed down some nether wood so we can do some brewing. There's also the turtle setup that I built. I've shown this in creative, one of the last videos. It's working pretty well. As you can see, plenty of turtles in here and none on this area, so the setup works fine. Plenty of scoots, so we can go to the end. And what else is there to show? Oh yeah, Speck was working on something the last 2 playing sessions. He wanted to remove some bedrock in the nether dimensions in order to raise the efficiency of the future wither skeleton farm. I think he just wanted to remove some bedrock, to be honest, because we don't need a fast wither skeleton farm at all, but it's nice that he's actually working on it. But it's actually extra hard this time, because we don't have TNT available, so we don't use TNT duping. The amount of sand we have is very limited, as I said. We can't just craft it. What other ways there to get the headless pistons that are required to remove bedrock? Well, you can get an explosion in a headless piston using beds, for example, by clicking on them. So I prepared a little time lapse of Speck removing bedrock for, I believe it was 6 or 7 hours. Using beds and the headless pistons. Let's quickly look at that as well. Okay, so after many hours, this is the current state of the bedrock removal operation. I don't think Spec really knew how much effort it would take when he started this. Oh my god. Good that I have feather falling. No. Everything is good. Everything is good. Oh my god. Still alive somehow. I believe it. I believe it. I'm still alive. I'm actually just gonna end the pearl out of this mess. No. Somehow I made it out of this mess. I was actually lucky that none of my important items landed in the fire. What I wanted to say is, yeah, I think Spec underestimated how much effort it would actually take to remove the bedrock there. Hopefully he's gonna finish it. But we're also gonna need a bit more bedrock removal. I was thinking about using a wither cage for all kinds of block breaking farms in the nether. So we would need to shape I think a 3x3 bedrock cage should be enough. We don't think we're gonna need 2 wizards to break blocks. So it will be useful to use this headless piston method using bats later on in the series. Alright, but that's all for today. Thanks guys for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.